Tuesday, March 10 of 2020. This hearing is being held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth and Act relative to the protection of the wetlands as most recently amended. Notice of the time and place of this hearing was published in the Advocate on March 5, 2020. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. The persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order, and this is being either taped or shown live for broadcast. State ethics rules indicate that I tell you that. So we'll start with minutes for approval. So from the February 25 meeting, I had a look. I didn't see anything to change. I don't know if anybody has
I make a
anything to
motion
change.
that the minutes be accepted as submitted.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstaining, that's unanimous, thank you.
Sign me later.
Meeting mail, Merrill Lee, do we have any meeting mail?
No.
Okay.
I need a minute.
Discussion,
Yeah, no, nothing, nothing.
guess the only discussion I would throw out is that some of us, 7 of us went to the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commission's annual meeting a week and a half ago, and we, Abington, and Uxbridge all got called up as having 7 people. So for those of you that went, thank you. We actually got a little bit of notice during the beginning of the conference. And actually, I went to 2 really good workshops.
Did you hear that? Did you hear them say that, or did somebody tell you that?
No, it was the executive director of MACC. She told me I'd seen her downstairs.
Oh, so you didn't tell her that you weren't in the room when she said it?
No, she said, I'm not sure if you were there or not, but I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry, I just.
I wasn't up there when it began. I did get to see the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to leave early.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw you walking in.
Was she good?
As new Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs.
Right.
She was a very good speaker.
Mhm.
Now we'll see how her actions are.
Right, that's always important. So we have any old business? Okay, we'll head on to, well, I guess this counts as old business. We have an NOI, Town of Acushnet, DPW, SE 001-0541. Notice of intent was filed by the Town of Acushnet, DPW, for property located on Hamlin Street, map 23 and 24, lots 22, 26, 26A, and 18 through 26, 23A, 23C, 23D, 25A through C. The applicant proposes to dig a trench and lay a pipe with catch basins and manholes to relieve drainage issues on Hamlin Street within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Bob Rogers of GAF Engineering. Plan name is Town of Acushnet, DPW, Street Improvements, Project Hamlin Street, dated October 24, 2019. This is from a previous continuance, and are we continuing again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
For
but he
next
did-
meeting?
Well, he did say that he had heard from GAF today,
Mm-hmm.
so hopefully next meeting they'll be ready.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to continue to the March 27 meeting.
I'll make the motion we continue that till our next meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business, an RDA, William A. Kraus Jr., 48 Lantern Lane, a request for determination of applicability was filed by William A. Kraus Jr. for property located at 48 Lantern Lane, map 6, lot 6. The applicant proposes to install a septic system with associated site grading within the 100-foot buffer zone with bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Rick Shine of Shine Associates Incorporated Engineers. Plan name is Subsurface Sewage Disposal prepared for William A. Kraus Jr., dated February 20 of 2020. I notice Carmen Nicolosi is here. So, Mr. Nicolosi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Carmel Nicolosi with Shannon Associates. Represent Mr. William Kraus. I have 2 extra plans here. I don't know if you want to open them up on the table, or if you just want to roll through. I'll put them out there and you can decide with them. The project is located in 19 Lane at the very end. It's the repair of an existing septic system. Currently, there's a 1,250-gallon septic tank that goes into a leaching field. There's a pit in the center of the field and then some 4-inch perforated pipe. The system does not pass Title 5. So what we've done is we've gone out and done a percolation test, and we've designed a repair for the septic system. We've located the repair up in the would be the northeast corner of the lot. We're eliminating the existing septic tank, gonna be pumping it and backfilling it. Eliminating the existing leaching facility, and proposing a new 1,500 gallon, 2-compartment tank going into a 1,000-gallon dosing tank, and then up into an Elgin in-drain leaching system up in this corner. The system is 15 feet wide by 42 feet long, 3 rows of these GSF modules. There's a high groundwater table. We got models at 12 inches, so essentially groundwater table 12 inches below grade. So this is going to be a mounted septic system. Requesting a variance from the Board of Health for groundwater separation, which is allowed with this type of septic system, leaching facility, rather. We flagged flags 1 through 10. The proposed system is 95 feet from the wetlands. There's a ditch that runs through the wetlands, and it actually starts up in here. Probably anyone who went to the site seen it. Looks like a hand dug ditch. If we were to take a setback from there, that would be 65 feet.
It was covered with snow, but we did see where it exits there.
Yeah, it's, you tell it hand dug, and it was probably done to try and, because of the high groundwater table during the wet season, probably done to try and dry the lot out a little bit. We dug some test pits to determine whether or not it was hydric soils, and it's pretty clear that this was dug up in some uplands. So, yeah, we're showing the wetlands resource area as this flag line, and then the buffer zone from that. Other than that, existing grade is, let me see if I can see, about 73, and we're proposing the finished grade at 75.4, so about 3.5 feet. No, 73, 2.5 feet. It's a 72 here, so between 73 and 72, so 2.5 to 3 feet. We've got the wattles shown coming across from the corner of the fence where the pool deck is, and across to the stone wall. And that's about the extent of the project. I take any questions if anyone has any.
All those trees in that corner have to come out, huh?
Yes, there's some pine trees, there's a little holly here, but most of those trees are gonna be removed from that corner of the lot. There's an old shed here that you've probably seen, that's gonna be also removed. I did put 4 stakes out there, I'm not sure whether they were still there. But
Yeah,
those
they're still
four-
there, yeah.
Okay, so those 4 stakes are gonna be the corners of the leaching facility.
It's not a huge pitch this way from that corner to this, so.
Um,
I mean, we're going from 73 down to 69, that's not a lot over that much, I mean, so.
Yeah, it's
Still a waddle that I think will be okay, so.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lawn area, and I think there's probably a piece of plywood that's over that, that little, it's like a little pit, so we'll be pumping that.
I didn't notice the plywood. Probably, yeah.
Okay. So for those of you that were there, Merrily or anybody else, any comments, questions?
Yeah, I've got one, there's a sand catcher right at the end of the driveway.
Catch
Put
basin,
some silt. But,
Okay. support the fabric,
add
Yeah.
something,
yeah,
so it
okay,
doesn't fill up with,
that makes
just in
sense.
case you get a rain
Yeah.
or something.
Well, we're gonna be moving some transporting a lot of material here, so that makes good sense, so I'll make a
We
note
want
of
to
that.
see the town have to spend money.
No, and it looks like they, based on the cold patches, they might have done some stuff recently, so, yeah, we'll, I think just on this one.
It's right at the end of the driveway, it's
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah,
driveway.
see, I show it right here, I just don't have it labeled, but we'll definitely put filter fabric in prior to construction, and then remove it after construction. Unless you wanna make that
Yeah.
a condition of the request, I guess you can do that
Oh.
too.
Well, then we can make it one of the conditions, sure. All right, any with questions or comments?
to the site visit, but we're on 1990.
This is the very end,
On the right.
On the right. On the right?
yes, on the
Is that-
right-hand side, if you go,
Landon Lane's
Is
there,
that
this,
the, yeah, Bill Kraus.
yeah, yeah.
You bought it?
No, he owns it,
No.
he's been there for
representing.
a long time. I worked with Shard Associates who worked on the septic system design.
That being said, I'll entertain a motion for positive order of conditions with the stipulation that filter fabric going into the storm drain.
Yeah, this is an idea.
Yeah, it's an application.
Oh, negative determination in that case, with the stipulation that there be filter fabric in the storm drain at the driveway.
So moved.
And a second on that. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Thank you. I'll be sure to put that on the plan for the contractor to have it.
Okay.
Oh, it's just-
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, Mike.
Good night.
Okay, next, RDA, Christopher Holliday, 22 Burr Ave. A request for determination of applicability was filed by Christopher Holliday, for property located at 22 Burr Avenue, map 25, lot 50A. The applicant proposes to remove Japanese knotweed and Phragmites within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Plan name is sewage disposal system for 22 Burr Avenue dated September 2015. Doesn't list anybody here representing. the-
No, he's not here either. I'm kind of surprised, but, I can always go by and talk to him or call him tomorrow. You just, I don't know, the question is, what do you do with it once you pull it out? You know, the knotweed and the soil that it's in.
Right, so did he have a plan for that?
Well, no, he didn't, we didn't talk about it actually, but he did say he had access to a small excavator,
Mm-hmm.
so he was planning to dig it up, you know. But like I said, we didn't talk about what he was gonna do with it.
Right. Would be good to know that.
What would you have him do with it?
I don't know, I'm curious to find out what he has, what options he has. And I'm sure,
Big area,
Big
yeah.
area.
yeah, I don't know what other folks in the state have done when cleaning this stuff up. And you
I
can't-
don't either, I can do some homework and find out for you, and I didn't really spend any time on it
Mm.
yet, but I certainly can do that, we continue it for him till next week.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's, our next meeting, because I'm sure he's probably waiting till spring anyway.
yeah. I don't know, sounds like the few of you got out there in pretty sizable area
Yes.
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's not
Nice,
really just
nice and thick too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, real thick.
The elevation does drop
Mm.
from
Can't really
the
see it from
driveway
underneath at all.
side where he's proposing to have a playground.
Yeah, you can
Just
see it
continues to
goes
fall,
from 105 down to 95,
Right,
and then down into the flat line back
yeah,
there.
so there's gonna be some water flow down that direction.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is new to me, so I don't know what other,
Is that where his leaching field is?
that's not
that's
next
all,
to the
this
house.
is all established.
And then down here.
Down here,
This is where
yeah.
the drops.
Oh,
Drop
yeah,
right
yeah.
there, and then the wetlands start way down here.
it would begin to know how you would handle the soil after removal. But,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
this
should do
is,
some homework
this,
on
yeah,
that.
this hasn't come to us before. It's good that he's doing this because certainly it's within the buffer zone. But, there's got to be proper disposal so it doesn't end up becoming somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get rid of it, I mean, that stuff grows.
Yeah, plus it's got its
You're gonna be chasing
runners,
it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's salt going, and put salt water on it, but you end up damaging other stuff and everything ends up in the wetlands, so we don't wanna do that.
No,
I mean, cause that stuff will not grow in salinity,
that's too bad,
yeah.
that it's such a hill, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it would slide right in there.
Right. And I know there was a project somewhere in the state focusing on Phragmites, but it was this 2 or 3 cycle project to finally get it all out, and it really required diligence.
Right,
And
right.
it almost sounded like a test project for a conservation group or an agency or a municipality, as opposed to a homeowner.
Right, well, what I've seen for knotweed is that number of years. They suggested you let it grow up until about September, then cut it all down and paint it with Roundup, and then, then let it grow up again and do it again.
Mm.
And, at least twice in a year, and then it's gonna continue the next year and probably the third year at least.
Hmm.
It's gonna take a while, I'm sure.
Is there anything, do frag might support any wildlife? No.
Around, that's the other issue with that stuff. It's not really much nesting ground, breeding ground for anything, because it's not a native species. And it, doesn't really support much wildlife.
Sometimes the birds like to hide in there.
Hide it, but, that's one of the things that came up, and we talked about it then.
But you don't see nests,
Not great habitat.
I guess, because it's wet.
Hmm. Yes.
How old is the baby?
Just a baby, I think he said 4 months now.
It's a good time for the swings then.
All right, so, I entertain a motion
2
to
rounds.
continue this to the next meeting.
I make a motion to continue this RDA
Do we have a
request
second?
until the next meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's it for new business. We have agent updates. Marily, anything from you?
Yes, Dan from DPW next door wants to keep the trail that goes, you know where Riverside Park is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down there at the river.
Mhm.
There's a trail that goes through there to Main Street that was part of the 40B project when they
Mhm.
put in those houses and stuff. And it's really overgrown and stuff, but some of it's wet. And he wants to keep it cleaned,
Mm-hmm.
mowed basically, so that you can use the trail,
Good.
and also so that they can access the whole
Mm-hmm.
process. Cause he's got I think it's a drainage easement in there.
Is it on the left?
It's, yes.
Going on the
it's-
left, no.
No, it's on the right side. It goes-
The riverside.
Has that been
The
cleaned
bottom of the
previously?
There? No?
Marilyn?
Bottom
No,
of
no,
Jean
no.
Street.
We're talking, the bottom of Jean Street.
Oh,
A little
Down
park
near
in the bottom
Titus.
corner.
oh.
There's a parking lot there.
Oh,
Yeah, there's parking
Has that been cleaned
Yeah.
previously?
Has that been cleaned previously? Yes, I think he's got it pretty clear now.
No, but
actually.
who said it wasn't at the sheriff's department?
Oh, I don't know if the sheriff's department worked on that. I
I'm
didn't.
pretty sure, because they used to work on the other trails over here that we used to do.
They,
Walk
yeah,
down
they
that
do the
way.
green
Yeah.
all the time, although
They
they
could
haven't
go,
done
you
it
could
yet
call
this
them.
year, but. Yeah, I should call them, actually. They came and
Because
helped in the
Naomi
garden one
actually
year.
does that.
Yeah.
Good.
She was running for office, wasn't she?
She works for the sheriff. She's in
Okay.
charge of that.
So Marily, so Dan was,
She's in charge of the men that do that.
Dan was just giving us an update that he wants to keep that clean, and it's just a heads up then.
Well, he wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have any problem with it, so I was
No.
gonna suggest that we put it on a site visit list
Okay.
and just take a
Yeah.
walk,
Yeah.
next time we go out.
I think that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice spot, anyway.
Alright, and that's about all I have.
And April 18th, we got the town cleanup. So
April 18th is the town cleanup.
what's our role on that?
Well, I'd love to have anybody who wants to help.
I'll be there that morning.
But that's entirely up to you, it's just a matter of being there in the morning and, making sure everybody gets gloves and bags and anything that they need. I usually run around after they go out, after an hour or so and give out little bottles of water,
Mhm.
anybody who might be wanting them.
Was the area of focus this year?
There isn't really an area of focus. People like to do their own neighborhoods usually, except the Boy Scouts like to do South Main. I don't know why, but they like that street, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of dirt there.
That's good.
High visibility.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And the Cub
gathering-
Scouts always do Lake Street.
Yeah, so gathering over at Council on Aging Building?
Yes.
Okay. We'll
Yes.
pick up supplies from there.
You want me to send you a postcard?
Yeah, I got one, I just
You got one, okay.
hadn't looked at it since I first got it. Okay, but just getting out there, April 18th, starting at 8:30.
Starting at 8:30. Yeah, we'll have coffee and donuts or whatever.
Do you have any more of those?
Postcards?
Yeah.
Just
families.
50.
No, I just
I
need like
have
that.
So Merrily, that's it from you then for agent updates?
Yes, that's it.
Anybody else with business for the commission?
Well, I wanted to, just maybe this, I don't know if this is a discussion or new business, but does the town have a bylaw that restricts work within a certain distance from wetland?
No, we don't have a wetlands bylaw.
So we go by what the state law is.
Every time we've brought one up, there's been objections and it gets killed.
Would have been, passed?
We haven't tried it in a while, so.
No, it's been a
What
long
was,
time.
what were the past,
The objections?
no, not the objections, but what was the proposal?
Proposal was, actually, what was in the
I
proposal?
think one was like a 25-foot, no activity zone, which is something we could put in plans anyway.
Yeah, and I tell
But it-
people that that's the policy, that's not written down, but it's
Mm.
the policy, so
But
that,
it's,
you know.
What do neighboring towns have, Mary Lou, you know?
Rochester has a bylaw, I think. I don't know, actually, I can look into it,
Yeah.
find out who's got what.
I'd be interested, I'd like to do that 25, maybe 50, I'm not sure.
Well,
Yeah,
there-
that would
the
be good.
MECC does have a template, like a draft wetlands bylaw on their site.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing that we do need in a bylaw is the ability to levy fines,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
What's the, procedure, what's the protocol for that, how does that work? We make a proposal to
We drafted it.
the selectmen?
Yeah, it has to go, it has to go to town meeting,
Okay.
new bylaws.
Mhm.
Actually, any.
So you're looking at next
any
year now.
tweaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
it's
start
kinda
working-
late
you
for
start
this
working
year,
on it now.
Well,
but
give
it'll
us
take
time
us
to
this long
get
to
our-
work
Mhm.
it out.
Mhm.
Get our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
What's that?
When's town meeting, April?
May, yeah, May, I think it is May 11th.
What's that?
Isn't it?
What's that?
Town meeting.
Town meeting.
Town meeting is in April,
It's in April?
yes. Town election is in May, second
Oh, that's
Saturday.
right. The town election.
They moved the town election so that the sitting board of selectmen will be at the town meeting that
Oh,
had the input into that town meeting where there won't be one newbie,
oh, I
so
see,
to
it comes
speak.
after that.
Because
so
there's
they-
usually,
Mm.
no, not usually, but a lot of times there's a brand new person sitting at the town meeting. He hasn't really had any input
Exposed.
into the articles on
Right.
business.
That makes sense.
So that's why they moved it, plus I think they're hoping for a bigger turnout of voters.
Mhm.
Mhm. So it's a Saturday?
Second Saturday of May.
No, that's the election, you said.
The meeting.
But what
Town
about town
meeting is
meeting?
gonna be
Usually on Monday night.
traditional Monday night.
Yeah. But Paul,
Is there,
I'm gonna say, if you wanna, like, lead that
Town
up,
meeting's Monday, May
certainly
11th.
help you with it.
wetland bylaw?
May
Yeah.
11th, okay.
So,
And how about the
so
other?
if you go into MACC
The town
web,
meeting,
start, I think it's Mac
the
Web.
Monday
or
before the
There's
election.
a template for.
Please be informed the board is looking to call for a
Wetlands
town
bylaw.
meeting on Monday, May 11th,
Explain that to me.
beginning at
Sure,
7
so
PM.
right now,
Deadline for the submission of articles is Tuesday, March 10th, so that's today.
That's today, yes, they're in.
so there is a state wetlands bylaw, and they were, I think, Greg McGregor at that workshop said there's a couple, maybe 200 towns that have enacted their own bylaw,
Yeah.
which
a lot of
is
that.
specific to the town, and sometimes it's more restrictive than the state, because every town is different, and sometimes they need that.
Mhm.
Like, we wouldn't need anything related to saltwater coastline, for example. So, you know, we can tailor ours to meet our needs,
Mhm.
and so we bring it up and it gets brought up at town meeting. We probably have to go to the selectmen, because they're the ones that put it on.
Prior
the-
to, right?
Yeah, because they're the ones that put it on the
And
warrant.
they'd probably have to send it to the legal team
Sure.
to make
Right.
sure the language is correct.
Yeah, and then, yeah, before it's put on the warrant, because you don't want it shut down because the language is wrong.
Would it be appropriate to apply for both of the ability to levy fines as well?
Sure, you can put it
Oh,
wherever
yeah.
you want.
If you
Bundle
got-
that up together?
Yeah.
Well,
I
currently,
think
there's
I'd
no
make it
ability
two
to levy
articles.
fines in the town of Acushnet.
No,
Is that
I, littering, I can levy fines for littering, and, there is something They passed something last year, I think, or maybe the year before, that allows us to fine people,
Okay.
but it doesn't have a whole lot of gumption
There's
behind it.
no
you know?
structure there behind
So there's no
that.
enforcement
Yeah.
behind her, is that what the issue is, or?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some issues when we've put out enforcement orders. Once you do that, I think then you can have the backing of the state, you get some help with that,
I see.
and that's more of a legal process, a formal
So
process.
compliance with the state or?
Yeah, it isn't us.
Yeah,
it's
no,
the
it's
state.
the,
Yeah.
when you can get their attention.
Mhm.
So where can this literature be found? Is it anywhere?
Yeah, it's on
With the existing,
MAC.
for the Acushnet?
No, well, no, I mean, ours is what the state laws are. We use, we and
Right, you use the
150 other
Acushnet.
towns use whatever is the state law. Then you got a couple hundred that have gone a step beyond that. And there'll be example, Nick said, there's the draft one, and I'm guessing all the towns that have their own, MACC may list that, then you can go to those towns and look on their website. and
As a
find-
reference?
Yeah.
So when you said ability to levy, we have the ability to levy.
We do, but it doesn't have any real teeth behind it.
So you just want some more, better definition?
Mm. And then set the prices and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
And it's rare that you need it, but it's nice to have it.
unless you do a bylaw and regulations, and then you can change the
Mhm.
prices and stuff,
Right.
you know, in the regulations without having to go through the whole bylaw change at town meeting.
Yeah, right, yeah, it's kind of like a nonprofit when you have your bylaws and your standard operating procedures, and you can change the SOPs without a full board vote. You just, the executive committee can do it or whatever. Okay, good idea, Paul, thank you.
I'll go on the website and start doing some research for the bylaw.
Yeah,
or whatever.
and the other thing to announce is that Everett has agreed to become our vice chair,
Oh, good.
now that Ted retired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we need to do something nice to acknowledge Ted's many years of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, the selectmen sent in a nice, certificate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I saw it in the meeting room last week.
Need a bigger table.
Table, I know, we've only had 7.
I'm good,
A long
I'm good,
time.
I'm truly good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this room.
Yeah.
And we did get, if you didn't notice, we got plotter.
Oh, there it
This
is.
one- This one is used.
Where's that
From the Old Colony, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
And, yeah,
Great,
so
good
we
for
gotta
you.
figure out how to hook it up and
plugs in this way.
then how to hook it to my computer and.
Except the two on the
Yeah,
wall
like
there,
that.
which I can't figure out why they're up there.
Okay, running cords and taping them and, yeah. There's probably a shelf there at one point. Okay. Anybody else with business for the commission? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
It's my new job,
That's
right?
right.
Yep.
All in favor? All right, meeting adjourned at